Hello, my name is Cole Smith. I'm doing current event summary number 12. The question is, how does unionization impact trucking, and what are the benefits and I guess, cons, like the pros and cons of trucking unionization? So in terms of impact, it affects wages, working conditions, and operations of the company. Excuse me. Historically, unions have represented like a large number of employees coming together. So it's kind of declined sharply after a lot of the regulations left, especially in the trucking industry. Since the deregulation in 1980, union membership has declined to like from about 40%. So the ones that they don't really exist anymore, but the ones that do, they fight for labor contracts, standardizing pay, benefits, all that. They fight for collective bargaining, which gives drivers more negotiating power with the boss, so they feel like they are more, like they have more of a voice. They're more heard. And operational flexibility. They as just as like the company has to follow rules, they want the rules to be more flexible. Since it's like an ever-changing job, like your job is literally to move. They fight to make those rules more flexible, to be more case by case, because that's what you're going to see is a case by case basis. And there are benefits to this. One would be higher wages and better benefits. If you have a group, like a large group of employees fighting for one thing, it's probably a good idea that you just give it to them. Assuming that what they're asking for is within reason. Excuse me, like a pay raise. You may not think they deserve it, but if they feel like they do, and they're all coming together to say, pay us, then you should probably pay the folks. Number two, it helps with job security. With collective bargaining, it protects drivers from sudden layoffs, because you can't have just like a company can't just fire a large group of people because they're unionizing. That's not good PR. So it is pretty good for job security, and for safer working conditions. Like the one I can think of the most is like the factory workers back in, I believe it was like the Great Depression, when they had to unionize and fight so they didn't literally die on the job. So stuff like, it's not that dramatic with the trunking company, but stuff like that, having a voice, making sure that when you go to work, you aren't thinking like, am I going to survive until the next shift? And then am I going to survive after that one? So, but there are some cons. For the company, there are higher costs because you have to pay them more. Obviously, it's going to cost more, so a little bit more money. And you can't really, there's reduced flexibility for the company. When you have a group of people telling you to do one thing, there's not much flexibility in that. Excuse me. You can bargain and negotiate, but you're going to have that foundation of what they want for them to be satisfied. Oh, my notes just, okay, there we go. And there is always the potential that they're going to go on strike, and then they're not going to like what you do, so they're just going to go and not work. So your production comes to a standstill, and that's never good for PR or profits. It's not good for anything. And there is barrier to entry for new drivers. So like unions may favor the senior drivers who have been through it and have more of a feeling and more of a passion to get it done because they've been through it, than the new guys who just can listen to what's going on around them and be like, oh yeah, that's probably bad, So there are those cons. But overall, unionization does tend to improve conditions, but then again, with the improved conditions there come raised costs and reduced efficiency. In modern trucking, you can't really have increased cost because it's already a highly competitive market. So, you know, you have to keep that in mind. But that is my 5 minutes. So thank you for listening and have a good day.